not just going to be playing Flower Garden. We're also going to be exploring 3 variants of the game. So we're going to start by playing 3 or 4 games of Flower Garden. And then we're going to try out the variants, and we're going to play a few games of each. Now, we're going to give each variant a fair shake. We're not just going to play 1 game of each and then move on to the next. So this is effectively going to be 4 episodes in one. Although it might be shorter because we don't need to explain all the rules over and over, since the variants are pretty similar to the original game, just with some minor changes added. Flower Garden is a very old game. I think the oldest book I saw that had this game in it is from the 1860s, but it has existed probably even long before that. Now, I'm probably just going to do one more quick shuffle, and then we'll enter our first game of Flower Garden. Now, this game has it can be hard to win, so we might only win 1, if any. So Flower Garden is played on a 6x6 tableau. So 6 piles of 6 cards each. Let me just make sure these are in frame. These ones can be moved down a little bit. Once we've dealt out the tableau, the remaining cards go in a reserve, which is called the bouquet. And I'm not very good at doing the smooth fanning out of the cards, but I'll try my best. I'll explain how the bouquet works as we go over the rules. So, the goal of the game is to move all cards to the foundation, which is going to be over here on the right side. The 2 main parts of the game are the tableau, which in Flower Garden is called the garden, and the reserve, which in Flower Garden is called the bouquet. The foundations are built up from ace to king in suit. So for example, we would start by finding an ace of diamonds and moving it to the foundation. Then we would find the 2 of diamonds, and we would put it on top of the ace. Then we would do the 3 of diamonds, the 4, and we would go all the way up to king. And we would repeat that process for all 4 suits. So by the end of the game, we should have 4 piles on the foundation, stacked up from ace to king in suit. 13 cards in each pile. Movement on the tableau is done in descending sequence regardless of suit. So any 7 may be placed on any 8. Any jack may be placed on any queen. Suit and color do not matter in this game, only rank matters. We can only move 1 card at a time, and if we manage to empty out one of these piles, the empty space can be filled by any card. We only have access to the top card in each pile. So if a card is covered, we can't access it until we move the card that's on top of it. Down here we have the bouquet, any card can be picked at any time. That pretty much covers the rules, so let's get started, and the first thing I'm going to do is take this ace from the bouquet and play it to the foundation. We can then take this 2 and move it on top of the ace. Now let's take a look at the rest of the board and see if we can make anything happen. Our first goal is going to be to try to empty out one of the piles while collecting as many of the aces as possible. So let's see what our options are for doing that. Okay, I think I've got a path that will open up some options for us. It should get us 2 aces and open up an empty pile. So let's try it out. We're going to move the 10 onto this jack. Then we're going to take the 3 of spades from the bouquet and move it onto this 4. We'll move the 2 here. Then we'll move this queen onto the king and the jack onto the queen. Now we take the ace of clubs and move it to the foundation. We can move the 2 of clubs as well. We're going to wait on the 3 just in case we need it. Now we move the 7 to the... Actually, I did not plan this part out because we're not going to be able to get the ace of hearts if we move the 7 onto the 8. Let me just think a little bit longer and see if there's any way we can work this out. If we have to, we'll do that. Oh, we can do that. I'm thinking about it now. Okay, let's do that. We'll move the 7 onto the 8. Then we'll move the 9 here. We'll take a 10 from the bouquet, place it here, and then we'll move the 9. And now we can use the empty space to move the 7 here, and then we move the 8 and the 7 over. And then we can take our ace. So that's a pretty good start. We've got an open space. We've got an open queen, king, where we can put a queen. We've got 3 of our aces. Pretty good start so far. Let's take a look and see what we want to do next. Okay, I think I see some moves, but we're going to have to do a little bit of scrunching to make room for it. So we're going to move the bouquet down. Hopefully it doesn't go out of frame. I think you probably are not going to be able to see the bottoms of the cards, but hopefully you can still see the tops. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take a 6 and a 5 from the bouquet. Now we'll move this 3 to the foundation. We'll move this 4 onto the 5. This 3 can go onto the 4. Then we can move the 4 to the foundation and take the ace. So now we've got our 4th ace. Now where do we go from here? I'm seeing a little bit of trouble getting past this jack and some other problems. Like we can't get to the 3 of hearts here. We can't get to the 6 of spades here. Both of those would help us. We can't get to the 6 of diamonds because this is in the way. If we could get to the 6 of clubs, we could move this to the foundation, but we can't because we have the 3, 4, and 5 of clubs in our bouquet, which we could move here. But we don't have the 6, and we can't get to the 6. We could move the 7 to the empty space, the queen to the king, add that to the foundation, but we've got nowhere for this 9. None of our 10s are available. And we don't have an 8 in the bouquet. So we can't move it here and then do something like that. Let's just move as many cards to the foundation as we can, and we'll assess the situation after. But I think we're gonna run into a problem. Okay, and here's where we get stuck. We can't take this because the 6 is here. We can't take this because the 6 is here. And we can't take any of these because the 3 is here. And I think that's where we're going to be stuck for this game. It's possible there was a set of moves we could have done to prevent this. It can be really hard to tell in this game. Yep, alright, that's going to be the first game. We didn't do too bad. We did make a lot of progress, but we just got cornered, unfortunately. That happens a lot in this game. This is a pretty tough game to win. I've seen the chances estimated at about 20% if you play well. So, hopefully we'll win at least one. But I would be surprised if we win more than one, considering I'm only planning to play, I think, 4 games before we move on to the variants. They're slowly making improvements and trying to get things better over here. The lighting is still going to be horrible. I have to really mess with the exposure. Otherwise, there's a huge glare on the cards that makes it hard to see. So if you're wondering why the exposure is so messed up in my videos, that's why. I have to do that or else you can't see the cards. It's very annoying. But also I kind of like the vibe that it gives, like the dark kind of nighttime-y vibe. Kind of fits with the channel. But I don't know. That's not really on purpose. That's just me desperately trying to make things work. Okay, this will be the last one, and now we'll start dealing our second game. We've got two aces in the same pile. I'm going to be very sad if that gets covered by a king. Please no king. Okay. Alright. And this actually is looking really good. So we'll start by moving this ace from the bouquet to the foundation. Now I think I see a series of moves I want to do. Let's try it. 7 to 8. Jack to queen. Then we take the 6, into the 7. Then we put a 5 here from the bouquet. We move the 4. Then we'll move this 10. And this 9. And we'll take an 8 from the bouquet. Then we move the 7 and we get our 2 aces and our empty space. And while we're at it, let's grab this 2 of hearts. Now where do we go from here is the question. I think I want to do this. I'm going to move the king to the empty space. I'm going to take a queen from the bouquet. Move the jack over. Now we move the 10. This 4 can go on the 5. And then we move the 2 of spades to the foundation. This 3 can go onto there. And now we can move this 10 here and the 2 here. Now the problem is, while we do have some cards on our foundation and we have an empty pile, it's really we still have a lot of problems here. A lot of our low cards are buried underneath huge stacks now, which is what kind of ends up happening if you're not careful. But sometimes there's no way around it. Now I'm seeing something, but I don't think it actually gets us anywhere, but let's just try it anyways. And this is going to require a bit of moving the cards around. We'll put this 6 here. This is definitely bad because we're putting even more cards on this stack that we're going to have to move. But so now we've got 2 open spaces. We can do this. Get our 3. But without a 9, there's nothing we can really do to get this somewhere. Oh wait, there is something we can do to get the ace. We can move the 7 into the blank spot, then move the 4 and 5 to the foundation, and take the ace. Now we can finally take this 2 of diamonds, but, I mean, what do we do from here? Like, we don't really have any options. We can take the 3, and the 4 is locked all the way up here, so we can't take the 5. The 2 of clubs is here. Yeah, I think we're done. Let me just double check to make sure there's not something we can do. We've just got too many low cards locked up here. I mean, we could move this 6 and 5. Does that accomplish anything? I don't think so. into the empty space, and now we can move. Finally, we move the 2 to the foundation. Now, can we? We can. I can't believe we won this. Okay. That kind of is what happens in Flower Garden. It feels like you're completely lost, and then there's just a sequence of moves hiding there that wins the game. That's awesome. I'm so glad we won one, because this was not guaranteed to happen. This is a pretty hard to win game sometimes, so. Okay. And now we just stack everything up. Very nice. Oh, I'm so glad we won a game. This can be a really tricky game because you only have 6 piles to work with, which means your movement options are quite limited. But sometimes you can just make it work. It's tricky, but you can do it. Sorry if you hear lots of cuts. My cats are sprinting around the house like crazy cats. Okay, so we've got the clubs, or sorry, the spades, ace to king. Then we've got the hearts and the clubs, and the diamonds. Alright. So, let's start shuffling again for our 3rd game. I'm glad I was able to win on the 2nd game even. So this is probably the last game we're going to play with the normal layout. I thought it would be fun for the last game, the 4th game, if we play with that crazy fan layout from the book that I have. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have an old Solitaire book from 1910, and it has Flower Garden in it, and on Flower Garden they show a diagram for the old way of playing Flower Garden, which involved, instead of dealing the cards into columns, they dealt them into horizontal fans. And I think they're pretty cool, so I figured we'll play at least one game the old school way before we move on to the variants. But for this game, we're just gonna play it normally, so let's just do one last riffle, then we'll deal out game number 3. have to move this 4 to get to that 6, and then we can move the other 5. So let's do that now. We're going to move the 7 to here, pull a 6 from the bouquet, then we're going to take a 5, move it to the 6. We'll move the jack. Yeah, we'll leave the queen there, actually. Then we'll move the 2 to the foundation. We move the 3, 4, and 5 to the foundation. Then this 4 can go here. That opens up the 6. We can move the 5 there. This 3 can go to the foundation. And then we take our ace, and now we've got 3 aces and an open space. Let's see if we can do anything with that. And it looks like we can. We can move this 9 to the empty space. This 2 goes to the foundation. The 10 goes on the jack. 9 goes on the 10. Queen goes to the king. And now we've got all our aces and 2 empty spaces. This is a great start. We got really lucky that this pile right here has tons of high cards in it. So we don't have to dig out this pile. We can kind of just keep stacking stuff on it pretty safely. We're not going to need to worry about these cards until close to the end game. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this queen to the empty space, and then the king. And then we move the queen onto the king. Then we'll move this the 8 onto the 9. The 7 onto the 8 from the bouquet. Then we can move the 6. This 3 can go to the foundation. This 4 can go to the foundation. We'll pull a jack from the bouquet, and then we'll put the 10 on the jack. So now we've got more cards on the foundation, and we've still got our 2 empty spaces. I just realized we have the 2 of diamonds in the bouquet, so let's play that. Now we can move the 6 and the 5 to the foundation. We'll move the queen, and then take the 3 of diamonds, and I think we won this game. I think it would be very hard to lose this. We'll pull the 5 of spades from the bouquet. 6, 7, and 8 can all go to the foundation. We'll pull a jack from the bouquet, put this 10 on it. Put the 7 in the empty space, then move the 6 and the 7 to the foundation. The 9 can go here. And now, yeah, I think we've definitely won. That's awesome. We won 2 games in a row. That's just luck, I think. This was a really, really easy deal. It was really easy to figure out, I think. A lot of the options were pretty obvious. And this pile right here was so lucky that we just got a pile that was perfectly usable and didn't have anything important in it. We could just stick all the cards we didn't need on it. That was very nice. Alright, that's 2 in a row. I swear this game isn't usually that easy. This has been kind of a trend in these videos where I somehow get really lucky. I swear I'm not just like cutting out losses. I do sometimes cut games out from the video, but it's for other reasons, and sometimes the games that I cut are wins, so it's not like I'm just purposely trying to make it seem like I'm amazing at the game by only showing my wins. This is, I'm getting really lucky. It's weird because you would think I would be getting unlucky on the video. That's kind of how it usually works, right? You're good at something, and then you start recording, and then you're bad at it, but it's been happening the opposite for me. I play way better when I'm recording than when I'm just playing on my own. Alright, so that is our first 3 games. For the last one, we're going to play in that sort of old school style, and I'm just going to quickly go get the book so we can look at it before we do it. So like I said, this book is from 1910, and here we've got Flower Garden. And if we turn the page, you can see this is sort of the old school way of playing Flower Garden. The rules are exactly the same. Mechanically, it's an identical game, but the layout is done visually slightly different. And so I thought it would be fun for our last game to play it like this before we move on to playing the variants. So let's do that. Just move this out of the way. this video for a really long time, but I wanted to wait until I'd kind of established a routine with normal videos first before doing the first special one. And I'm planning on doing more special videos like this with other games. Like, for example, another one I'd like to do is a Free Cell special, where we play Free Cell, Adolf, Baker's Game, and maybe some others. I think that would be really fun, so let's just do one more shuffle, and then we'll start our last game, and we're gonna try to deal it the way they did in that book, but I'm not very good at it. It's kind of hard, but we're gonna try. Alright, so we'll start our first fan over here. It should look something like this. I don't know if that's very well done. I'm not going to be able to make it look as pretty as it looks in the book. By the way, when we play it like this, I think it's going to become pretty clear pretty fast why they don't play it like this anymore. We'll put the bouquet here at the bottom, and I just want to make sure that that the cards aren't out of frame. So just give me 1 second. Okay, it looks like they are in frame, so let's get started. Like usual, we're gonna move the cards from the bouquet to the foundation, and also this one. Now where do we go from here? Okay, I see a way we can get an empty pile, and I think this is the first thing I want to do. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna play this queen to the king over here. We're gonna play this 4 to this 3. Then we're gonna play a queen from the bouquet. Whoops. Then we'll play this jack and this jack to the queens. This 10 over here, and this 9. Well, we're gonna play a 10 from the bouquet. Also, I just realized there was another ace in the bouquet that I totally missed. So we'll play that, and then we'll play this 10 and this 10. And you can see we're already kind of running out of space here. If we have to add any more cards to this pile, it's going to be kind of a mess. Let's play the 2 of spades from the bouquet. I'm going to play this 6 of clubs from the bouquet for now, so we can move this 5 over. Now we'll grab the 2, put it on the foundation. Now you're going to start to see how this starts to become a mess. We'll move the 3 to the empty space, then we'll move it over here. This 3 can go to the foundation. Now we need to get rid of this, so we're going to put an 8 and a 7 onto this pile, and you can see we're starting to spill over. Now we'll put this 8 here. Let's move this 8 to the empty space so we can move the 3 to the foundation. Now we'll move the queen to the empty space, and then the 7 like that. Now let's see if we can go anywhere from here. We need to dig down into these piles. I think this one in particular, but that has a king in it. I think this is going to be the pile we're going to have to work on first. But the 2 of clubs is all the way over here, so that's a huge pain. The 3 of hearts is down there too, so we can't start stacking up our hearts or our clubs. Let's move the 6 from here. And now I guess we move this 5 from the bouquet. Oh, I just realized we can move this 4. Then we'll move this 3 to the empty space. The 4 can go here. Then the 3. We'll move the 5 and the 6 over here. And yeah, this is getting pretty messy. The 7 can go here. The 4 can go here. We'll put the jack on the queen, and then the 10 can go on there. And now we've almost an empty pile, but we have nothing we can do with that 10. For some reason the 5 of spades is... Oh, here it is. Okay. No, I don't think that actually helps us do anything, but... Yeah, I think this one is over. These 2 low cards being locked down here with just no way to get to them. We can't open up another empty space because of this. I don't know. Let me just actually... Let's try some ideas. I had a random idea. I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but I'm thinking maybe we can move this pile. I mean, I guess we have to do this. But now we're stuck. We don't have an 8. Like, we can move a 9 to here, for example, but we only have 1 empty space. The 7 can't go there. We don't have anywhere to put this. We don't have an 8 on the bouquet. So I think this one is done. I'm sure I made a lot of dumb moves because I'm not used to the look of this layout, but I still thought it was fun to try out. As you can see, it gets a little unwieldy pretty fast, which is probably why we don't play it that way anymore. But still pretty fun. And that's going to be it for our flower garden segment. We're going to move on to our next variant, which is going to be Wildflower, and I'll explain that in a bit. So for Wildflower, I'm going to be using this kind of strange deck that I got in a mystery pack. It's from the Trump playing card company. I'm not familiar with them, but the cards feel pretty cheap. And the back is just this blurry picture of a beach. I don't know if this is like a specific famous beach, but so weird deck, but kind of fun and interesting. I like cheap decks. I've mentioned that in an older video. I think cheap decks are interesting, so let's enjoy this and play some Wildflower. So Wildflower, the rules are almost identical to the rules of Flower Garden, except with one major change. And that change is that if you stack cards on the tableau in suit, you can move entire sequences, but those sequences must be in suit. So you're still allowed to stack regardless of suit, just like in Flower Garden. But if you do stack in suit, you can move that entire suit sequence or part of a suit sequence together as one card. This opens a lot of new possibilities and makes the game significantly easier, so we should win most of our games of Wildflower, unless I really blow it, which is possible. Let's do one more shuffle, and then we will get started on our first game of Wildflower. Alright, so the tableau, the garden is built the same way as in Flower Garden. So 6 by 6. By the way, I was watching back the first session of the Flower Garden games, and I noticed that my little injury on my hand was a bit more noticeable on the video than I thought it was going to be, so I covered it up. Sorry if that was distracting in the first section. It will be covered up for the remainder of the video. And just like in Flower Garden, the rest of the cards go in the bouquet. And the bouquet works exactly the same way as it does in Flower Garden. Alright, let's begin, and we'll start by taking the Ace of Spades from the bouquet and moving it to the foundation. Now our other aces are here, here, and there. So, let's see what we can do. suit sequences, we can move them together. So that's the big thing about this game. Okay, so I think I'm going to start by doing this. First, I'm going to take this 4 of spades from the bouquet and play it on the 5. And we'll move the 3 here. That gives us a little suit sequence right here. So we can move this all together if we want. But we're not going to do that yet. First, we're going to move this 8 onto the 9. Now I'm going to take the 8 and 7 of diamonds from the bouquet. And we'll move the 6 from here. And again, that creates another suit sequence, so we'll be able to use that. We'll move the 7 to here. That lets us grab the ace of diamonds. Now we'll take this 5 and move it here. And now we'll take this 4 of hearts from the bouquet, put it on the 5 of hearts, and then we'll move the 3 over. We've got 2 of our aces, and we've got an empty space. We've got a couple suit sequences that should enable us to have some better movement. Let's look and see where we want to go next from here. I think I want to go for this ace of hearts, but let's see if I can find a way to do that. I think I'm actually not going to go for the ace of hearts yet. Instead, I think I'm going to clear out this pile right here. So we can do that by moving the 5 to the empty space. Then we can move the 6 to the 7 and the 5 to the 6. We'll move this jack of hearts onto the queen of hearts. The 2 of hearts we're going to put onto the 3 of spades, and now we can move the 2 of spades to the foundation. And we'll put the 4 of diamonds over here, so now we've got 2 empty spaces to work with, which should help. Now let's get to this ace. We'll move the 2 of hearts over here. We'll move this 5-4-3 sequence into one of the empty spaces. Now we'll move. Just want to make sure I'm not going to regret this. Actually, we don't have anywhere for those 2 8s. So this might actually be a bad idea. We still need the ace of clubs too. Okay, I think I have a plan. Let's move the queen here, take the 2 of diamonds and the ace of hearts. Now we can take the 2 of hearts and the 3 of hearts. We'll move the 3 of clubs over here onto the 4 of diamonds, take the 4 of hearts and the 5 of hearts. Now we'll move the 5-4-3 spade sequence onto the 6 of diamonds. So we've got our empty space. Now let's see where we want to go from here. We need to go for this last ace. It might be tricky to get to. Let's move this 3-4-5 of spades to the foundation, actually. Okay, I think I see a path I want to take. We'll move the queen and the jack to the empty space. The 6 can go to the foundation. We'll move the 7 of clubs onto the 8 of clubs. We'll move the jack of spades onto the queen of diamonds. Now this 3 can go to the foundation, and we move the 6 to the 7 to get our empty space back. Now let's take this 10 of clubs and move it here. Now we'll move this 9-6 of diamonds sequence onto the 10. We'll move the 3 of clubs, onto the 4 of clubs. We can move the 4 of diamonds and the 5 of diamonds to the foundation. Now let's move the... Do we want to do that? Let me just make sure. Okay, yes. First we'll move the 5 of clubs, then we'll move the 4 and 3 of clubs on top of it. Let's move these to the foundation. This 6 and 7 of spades can also be moved to the foundation. Now let's move the queen of clubs, move the 7 of hearts to the foundation. We'll move the jack back on top of it. Now we'll move the 8 of hearts to the foundation. This 9 can go here. The 10 of diamonds can be moved to the foundation, as can the 9 and 10 of hearts, and it looks like we have won this one. We grab the 2 of clubs. The ace of clubs, which means we can take the 2 of clubs. This whole 8-3 of clubs sequence can be moved to the foundation. And now we just stack up the rest, and we have won our first game of Wildflower. So it's quite a bit easier than Flower Garden. Definitely more lenient, because you have more options, but still a lot of fun. foundation in suit, and that means suit does matter a little, but in this game it's much more significant, and you have to make more decisions based on suit compared to Flower Garden. So we've got all the clubs, ace to king, the heart, the spades, and the diamonds. Alright, let's shuffle up for game number 2 of Wildflower. I really like this one. I actually had the rules wrong when I first tried playing it. I thought you could move any sequences, regardless of suit. But the fact that you can only move suit sequences makes it sort of similar to Spider. And I like that aspect of it. I think it's cool how just a minor change to the rules can create a very different feeling game that makes you think about your movements in a pretty different way. Alright, let's deal game number 2 of Wildflower. Let's start game number 2. Let's start by moving this ace to the foundation. Okay, I think I see what I want to do first. We're going to move this 5 here. Then we'll put the 4 of clubs. We'll put the 3 of hearts from the bouquet. And then we'll move the 2 here. That lets us open up that queen where we can move the jack. Take this ace. This 9 can go to the 10 and the 8 can go to the 9. We'll take the... Do we have the 7 of diamonds? No, so we'll use the hearts instead then. 7, 6, and then the 5 of hearts will go to the 6, and then we take our next ace, and we open up a space. We'll move that 2 to the foundation as well. We can move the 2 of spades to the foundation. I would like to get to this 2 of diamonds if possible. We also need the ace of clubs. Okay, I think this is what I want to do. I want to take the 10 from the bouquet. We'll move this 7, 6, 5 sequence to the empty space. Now we'll move the 7 and 8 of diamonds onto the 10 of diamonds. We'll move this sequence back onto the 8 now that it's moved. This 10 can go here. We can move the queen and jack, or the jack and 10 together onto the queen. Now this is a sequence. Let's move the queen, jack, and 10 together into the empty space. The 9 can go here. And we can take the 8 from there. And now it appears... Oh, never mind. Here we go. We can move the 4 of hearts there. The 7 of diamonds. The 6 of clubs. And now we move the 5 and 4 of spades. Now, where does that actually get us? Well, we can do this. We can move the jack to the empty space, take the 2 of clubs finally. Then we'll take the queen, move it onto the king, and then move the jack onto the queen. Now we can move the 2 of clubs onto the foundation. We'll move the 3 of hearts as well. The question is, do we want to move all these to the foundation? The 4, 5, and 6. And the 7. I missed the 7. I think I do. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to move the 4 through the 7 to the foundation. I'm going to move this jack to the empty space. Then we're going to move the 10, 9, 8 of diamonds to the jack. Now we'll move this jack totally through. I might have messed up. I think I did, darn. We can't move this jack to here because there's no queen. I think I might have blown this one. Yeah, I think that's it. We can move the 8 and 9 to the foundation from the bouquet, and I don't see any way to move forward from here. I thought I had a plan, but I miscalculated something. Well, I think that's it. I don't see any more moves. That's a shame. It's okay, though. It happens. I'm sure that was winnable. Wildflower is almost always winnable, but sometimes you mess up. Unfortunate, but it happens. Okay, so I'm actually going to cut a game. I got a game where the starting position just seemed to be completely blocked. I got none of the cards I needed in the bouquet, and I just didn't have anything I needed to move the cards at the start. Maybe I could have done something if I knew, maybe something could have been done, but I could not see anything no matter how long I stared at it, so I think we just got a really unlucky shuffle, and I'm just going to cut that game and we're going to try again. Okay. Alright, game number 3, attempt number 2. Yeah, I just had like 8s blocking the way and no 9s to move them, and a whole bunch of 10s, but no 9s, and I just couldn't get the 8s out of the way. It was really annoying. Maybe I'll show on the screen what the deal looked like, and maybe if someone better than me can see a way I could have gotten past the beginning, then let me know. But every path I looked at just seemed to lead to nothing. Like, there were a few things I could have done, but they didn't lead anywhere. Okay. Let's try again. And wow, would you look at that? This does not happen very often. We started with all 4 aces in the bouquet. Let's move this 2 to the foundation as well, the 2 of clubs. This 2 of spades in the top row can also go to the foundation. Now, that's a good start. Let's see if we can actually do anything with it. Wow, this is just not going well. Once again, I do not see any way to progress from here. Okay, I've got something, maybe, but it seems like we just end up getting blocked by a king, but let's see if it leads to anything. Okay, then we move this whole sequence. The 8, 7, 6, 5 of spades. Now we can put a queen and a jack here. And the 8. Actually, let's not do that. I'm going to undo that move. So whether or not you consider that to be cheating is up to you, but instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this 4 of diamonds here, move this 3. This 3 of spades can move to the foundation. Now I'm going to move this 10 of spades here, move the 4 and the 3 of diamonds onto the 5 of clubs. Then we're going to move this entire sequence here onto the 10. And it looks like this isn't going to lead anywhere, I don't think. I just realized we can move this 3 of clubs to the foundation, but I still don't think that really helps us because the 4 is locked down here. Yeah, I mean, we can move the 4 and the 3. Well, we could move this 7 to here, the 6 to the 7, the 4 and the 3 could go here, and then, no, wait, that wouldn't even work, would it? Or sorry, yeah, the 4 and the 3 go to this pile. Then we move the 6 to the 7, the 5 to the 6, And but then we don't have anywhere for this. We can't move it to the foundation because the 2 of hearts is up here. Is there another 6? We don't have one in the bouquet. The other 2 6s are locked in here. Yeah, I do not know how to proceed with this one, so, well, I'm not going to cut both of those games. That didn't really go anywhere. I'm just going to cut the first one. This one will stay in. But, yeah, that's unfortunate. I've lost 2 out of... Okay, so I have to mention something. So last night, I recorded a session of Wildflower, and I won every single game that I played. I played 4 games and won all 4 of them. And then it turned out that I was recording from the wrong microphone. So I said, okay, well, I'll just re-record tomorrow. And now it is tomorrow, and I'm re-recording, and I have lost. I've played 4 games of Wildflower and lost 3 of them. So this is like the opposite of the luck that I was talking about during the flower garden segment. I guess this was bound to happen. Hopefully we can at least win the last game. This game is supposed to be easier than Flower Garden, significantly easier, and right now I'm on track to do worse in it than I did in Flower Garden. Okay, let's just do one more, and now hopefully we get a winner. Man, we started with all 4 aces in that last one too, but all the 2s were just difficult to get to. I couldn't find my way to them. From the bouquet and move them to the foundation. Now we'll move this 2, and the 2 of spades is here, so I don't have that yet. Alright, let's see what we can do. Okay, I think I got a plan. We're gonna move the 10 here. Now let's actually hang on. No, okay, I think this will work. So we move the 2 to the foundation, the 7 here, we'll take the 6 of clubs, and the 5 of hearts. Now we'll move the 4 of diamonds onto the 5. Now the 7, we can. I really want to see if there's any way we can get rid of this, but it looks like we can't. So instead, we're just going to play the 9 of hearts, then the 8 of spades, move the 7, this can go to the foundation. Now we've got 2, a jack and a queen to deal with. The jack is going to have to go. Oh, no, wait, that doesn't work. What am I thinking? The jack is going to have to go onto the queen of spades, even though I don't want to do that, but it's the only way, it seems, because we need the queen. The queen has to go on the king. So, I wanted to play the queen of diamonds so then we could put the jack of diamonds on it, but the queen of hearts had to go here. There was no other way. At least I don't think so. Okay, I don't know where this leads, but I'm gonna try it. Okay, so we're gonna move this jack to here. We're gonna put the 10 of hearts on it. Now we're gonna move the 8 and the 7 of spades into the empty space. The 9 will go on the 10. We'll move this jack and 10 of spades onto the queen of spades. Then we will move the 8 and the 7 onto the 9 of this 9 to the 10, and then the 8 and the 7 onto the 9. This 3 can go here, and then, now what? I actually think we lost again. Oh wait, let's see. We move this whole queen through 7 sequence onto the king of spades. Okay, now we take the 3 of spades to the foundation, the 4 of spades to the foundation. This 2 can go here. We'll move this 9 onto the 10 and the 6 onto the 7. Okay, well, we did some things, I guess. I don't know how much progress that actually made. We still need to get to this ace. This column has the ace and the 2 of clubs on it. I really want both of those. Oh, I wish we could get rid of this 4 really bad. Oh man, are we really blocked? Did I really win? Did I really lose every Wildflower game except the first one? Oh my god. This is what I get for saying, for saying I always get lucky when I'm recording. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. But I don't see it. Wow, that was definitely something. I can't believe how poorly the Wildflower games, especially after how well the Flower Garden games went, but I mean, that's how it goes sometimes with Solitaire. So I guess that's gonna be it for the Wildflower segment. I wish it could have gone better, but, you know, that's the reality of Solitaire. Sometimes it just doesn't go your way. At least we won one of them. But, yeah, alright. So the next game we're going to play, and hopefully I'll be able to win some more of these because it's another easier Flower Garden variant. It is called Brigade, and we'll get to that shortly. So for Brigade, we're going to be using this Eastern Airlines deck. And you can tell it's really old, not just because the box is all beat up, but also because Eastern Airlines went defunct in 1991. So this deck is at least 35 years old. But it looks to be in... The faces actually look like they're in surprisingly good condition. It's not like yellowed at all or anything like that. The edges are all beat up, but that's to be expected. Okay, let's start shuffling for Brigade. Now, Brigade is very similar to Flower Garden. There are only 2 rule differences between Brigade and Flower Garden. The first rule change is that the aces, which reminds me, the aces start on the foundation in Brigade. So we actually take them out before we start shuffling, which I forgot to do. Alright, the other difference between Brigade and Flower Garden is that Brigade has 7 tableau piles instead of 6, and that those tableau piles have 5 cards instead of 6. So it is a 7 by 5 tableau rather than a 6 by 6. This makes the game a bit easier. 7 piles means you have more cards to choose from at any given time, and less cards in each pile means it's easier to get an empty space. So overall, it just makes the game a lot easier than Flower Garden. I wouldn't say trivially easier, but easier enough that it doesn't require as much hard thinking. You can kind of just go with the flow. It's not easier enough that it becomes mindless, but you can get away with not thinking too far in the future sometimes. Of course, you still should. It's always good to do that so you don't get yourself in a dead end, but if you are playing a little loose in this game, you will be able to get away with it more compared to if you were doing that in Flower Garden. So let's start dealing the tableau. Now, the tableau and the reserve don't have special terminologies in Brigade. They're just called the tableau and the reserve. They're not called the garden and the bouquet, because this game is boring. I'm doing a bad job of making space for 7 piles. I probably should have put the foundations further to the right. Okay. Now this game actually is in that book that I have, the book I've shown several times, including in this video. It's in there as a game called The Rainbow, or I guess just Rainbow, since the prefix gets dropped on most games in a modern context. They don't call it the Flower Garden anymore, they just call it Flower Garden. But Rainbow basically describes the exact same rules as this game, except they call the reserve the Rainbow, and you're supposed to put it in like an arch. But I'm not going to be doing that because it's kind of a pain. I'm just going to do it in a straight line because I'm boring. Alright, so since our aces start on the foundation, our 2s are basically our aces in this game. So we're going to take the 2 from the reserve, not the bouquet, and move it to our foundation. Now we can grab this 2 by moving the 5 to here. I just want to make sure that I have a way forward from there. It looks like I do actually. Although, I'm wondering now, we do have a jack and a 10. Okay, but we'll be piling on that 3 of spades. That's a little scary. What I was thinking about doing is, so the path I was thinking was going, 5 to 6, 2 to foundation. We can take that to the foundation as well. Then we move the 5 of diamonds to or the 4 of diamonds to the 5 of diamonds, or the 5 of spades. I don't know, one of them. Then the queen can go to this king, and then the 8 can go to the 9. What I wanted to do was actually move this 10 to or move a jack from the reserve to where the queen is going to be, which is going to be here, and then we can move this 10, and then the 9, and then the 8 over. The problem is that we'll be building a lot of stuff on top of this 3 of spades, which already has a king on top of it. So I don't know if that's going to put us in a bad situation, but I don't like the idea of stacking on this either, because we've got the 2 and 3 of hearts. Ultimately, that's 2 low cards versus 1 low card in this pile, so if I have to choose between the 2, this might be the better choice. So, let's just do that, and hope it doesn't come back to bite me. Alright, and now we can just move this 3 out of the way so we can grab the 2, and then we grab the 3. Now, where do we go from here? As much as I hate to stack more on this pile, let's move this 7 to here, and then move that 7 there. So we can grab the 2, we can take the 3 from the reserve as well. Now we can take this 4 and 5. Let's move. No, let's wait. I want to move this 10 onto the jack, and then the 9, 8, 7, 6. I want to rearrange all these cards right here to be in a nice pile, but I'm not sure how we're going to do that. Oh, maybe I do know. No, I need to put this 7 somewhere. Let's do this. Move the 7 and the 8 here. Move the 10. We'll add this to the foundation. Let's move the 4 to the foundation as well. I really need to get to this, but I'm going to need more empty piles if I want to do that. Let's see if we can get one. We can do this, add the 6 and 7 of diamonds to the foundation. Let's move this 4 to here, and then we can move this 9 to here. Okay, so we've got 2 empty piles. Let's see what we can do with that. Maybe finally start down stacking this huge stack. Move the 9 to here. Can I do anything with that 9? I mean, I could just do this, but that doesn't help us at all right now. Hang on, what if we did something like this? Solitaire. Of course, that will get you in trouble sometimes, as it always does, but you can get away with it more in this game than you can in Flower Garden. I don't know why I got in this habit of showing all the cards on my first win for each game, but I'm gonna keep doing it. I guess just to demonstrate that this is what it looks like when the game is played to a successful conclusion. Alright, let's start shuffling for game number 2. Now, I brought something up in Wildflower. I cut one of the games because just nothing happened. I couldn't get past the beginning. And something I mentioned during that game while I was shuffling, but got cut from the video, was that I want to make it clear that if you see me making bad moves, if you see a move that I could have made that would have been better, or if I lose and you see a way I could have continued forward, feel free to leave a comment. I see people do that kind of thing a lot on Solitaire videos, and I actually think it's a really cool thing. I like that that people are able to help give each other advice so we can all improve at the game. I think it's awesome. I'm always looking for tips to get better, so if you see ways I can improve my play, definitely let me know. I don't find it annoying. I think it's awesome. So, yeah. Always appreciative of advice from more experienced players. Let's do one more shuffle and we'll deal out game number 2 of Brigade. I forgot to take the aces out. Just because, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter that we looked. It's not like this is a game where information is hidden. This is an open game, so it doesn't really matter if you see the cards beforehand. That's why I'm content only doing one extra shuffle. If I was playing like Klondike or something and I saw the whole deck because I forgot to, like, you know, you don't put the aces out in Klondike, but you know what I mean. If I was playing something with a stock and I had to look at the deck for whatever reason, I would probably reshuffle a couple more times, but with Flower Garden it's like, or Brigade, I guess, you know, seeing the deck ahead of time doesn't really matter, because we're gonna know what all the cards are once they're dealt anyways. Okay, and the reserve. So we've got 1, 2 in the reserve. We've got 1, 2 on the top row as well. Now let's see, our other 2s are there and there. We've got 2 7s here, that's a little annoying. No immediate 8s either. We have 2 8s in the bouquet, but that requires 9s. Plus we've got a king in that column too. And we've got a king in the other column with a 2 as well. This is looking a little tricky. Let's move this 3. We actually do have a 9, I forgot about that. Okay, we can at least get an empty space. That should at least get us started. We'll move that 8 from the reserve, and then we can kind of just downstack this whole thing. It's pretty easily set up. Uh-oh. Wait. Oh, right. Okay. Alright, so we've got an empty space. What now? Okay, I think I actually want to try to empty this pile too. Like this. Do I really want to do that? Let's do this instead. actually did. So I'm having a lot of fun doing this this special video with recording so many different games in quick succession. I've actually had to do a lot of re-recording because I keep messing up the recording process, which is a little bit annoying, but I still think it's been fun, and I hope the resulting video is worth it. I really like long ASMR videos, and I think this video is going to end up being over an hour and a half long, probably close to 2 hours, maybe a little less than 2 hours. Alright, let's do one last shuffle, and then we'll start game number 3 of Brigade. Of these decks I got from that mystery pack. There's a few others I haven't shown yet. Actually, I think there's one more I haven't shown yet. And I'll probably use that for the last game of tonight. No twos in the reserve. We gotta dig them all out. They are here, 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 and here. Now, this pile looks like a good one to go for because it's got 2 twos in it. Let's just do the easiest looking path here. Alright, this queen can go here, and then we will take a 9 from the reserve for this 8. Alright, we've got 2 of our 2s and 1 empty pile. Our other 2s are here, locked behind these 2 kings, which is annoying. And then this pile, which might be a little easier to get to. Let's see. Actually, I think I might want to open this up first. Okay, let's do this. 7, 6 from the reserve. Move this 5. Take this 3 and this 4. Now we'll move this 4 to here. The 9 can go here. This 4 can go here. And then we take the 3 and 4 of spades. Now we've got 2 empty spaces and quite a few more cards. We're still missing 2 of our 2s though. But since we have 2 empty spaces, it might be easier to get to them now. Let's see. Now the first thing I want to do is do this. Okay, let's move this king and this king. Take the 2, and then one of the 8s can go here, and the other 8 can go here. Now let's take the 3 and 4 of clubs from the reserve and put them on the foundation. We still need this 2 of diamonds. Okay, let's do this. Move this 5 to here. Put a queen and a jack on this king. This 5 can go to the foundation. Now we'll move this 8 and 7. This 10 can go to the jack, and then we take the 2. And we can put this 3 as well, and the 4, and the 5. Now we'll start digging into this. Move this 9 and 8. Let's move this 7 as well. Now I'm going to do this. We're going to should be no problem because we're just going to be able to vacuum everything up to the foundation. And we'll take this 9 and 10. Move this jack out of the way. Queen goes here. May as well put the jack on top. I don't even think we need to do that. Alright. 3 games at Brigade and 3 wins. That's nice. Well, at least this game is going how it's supposed to. I'm never gonna get over that Wildflower set. That was just so bad. It's okay though. I gotta stop griping about it. So let's start shuffling up for our last game of Brigade, and we're gonna take these easy wins while we can get them, because this last variant we're gonna play once we finish Brigade is much harder than the previous two. In fact, I'm gonna be surprised if we win a single game of the last variant. It's probably the lowest odds of any game I've played on the channel so far, maybe even lower than Prison. Although, to be fair, I won 2 games of Prison, so the odds might not actually be that low. Alright, now let's play our last game of Brigade. So we've got 1, 2 in the reserve. We can take this 3 off the top row as well. Now our other 2s are here, here, and here. 2 of them are blocked by kings, so we'll have to save those until we've got an empty pile open. Let's go for this one. And if we go for this one, we also get this 3. This pile is looking like a pretty good candidate to open up. I'm a bit skeptical of piling stuff on this pile with that 2 of clubs there, but I mean, we've had that situation in the last couple games, but it seems like Brigade gives you the tools you need to kind of recover from that situation, so I guess I will just play recklessly and do it anyways. And we've got 9, 8. Let's move this first. 9, 8 from the reserve, and then the 7 on top. Okay, we've got an open pile. We've got one of our 2s. We've got 2 more we need. One of them's here, and one of them's over here. back to the empty space. Move this 10 to the jack. Move this 4 to the 5. And now we move the king here. And we take, whoops. We take our 3 of spades. We can move the 6 of clubs over here to get our empty space back. Now can we actually undo this whole pile we just made? Well, first of all, we can play this 4 and 5 of spades to the foundation. We can't stack up the diamonds anymore because the 4 of diamonds is down there, so we have to find a way to do this without using it. Here, I have an idea. Let's move this 5 and 4 like that. Now we can move the 7 and 6 over here. Let's move this 8. This 9 can go to the 10. And now we can move the king. This 6 can go to the foundation, and now we get our 2. Okay. It looked like this is going to end up being one of those games that just kind of, you untie the 1, you pull the 1 knot, and then the whole thing just kind of unravels and you win. Because it looks like we're going to finish this one very quickly. We still got that we need to get to, so it's not completely over yet, but actually it might be completely over because like we have so many options to deal with this problem like that. And now 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we definitely won. This last game was super easy. Let's see, we can move these out of the way. Move this 9. Take a jack, or sorry, a queen from the reserve, so we can do that. Take the 7 and 8 to the foundation. This 9 can go here, and now we have definitely won. Alright. So that went pretty well. We got 4 out of 4 wins in Brigade, definitely making up slightly for the embarrassment that was Wildflower. But don't worry, if you want to see me lose, you're going to see plenty of losing in the next variant. In fact, I might actually end up playing more than 4 games because I'm probably going to be losing so quickly that the games are only going to take a couple minutes. But for now, that is Brigade. And so the next variant we are going to play is called Stonewall. So Stonewall is the most different of the games that we're going to be playing today. It uses different stacking rules, and the tableau layout has a major difference that you will see. So first, let's talk about the stacking differences. In all the variants we've played so far, the tableau is stacked regardless of suit. However, in Stonewall, the tableau is stacked in alternating color. That means that red cards can only be placed on black cards, and vice versa. So already you have half the amount of cards that you can use as movement options. However, you are given a little bit of an advantage to make up for it, which is that you can now move cards in sequences, and they do not have to be the same suit. Obviously they can't be the same suit because they have to be alternating colors. But as long as they're alternating colors, you can move sequences as a group, so that's good. However, there's one more tricky thing about Stonewall. As you will see when we deal the tableau, and that is that every other row dealt is face down. So you do not know what half the cards are. You only know what the face-up cards are. Now, we've never actually played a game with face-down cards on the tableau on this channel, if you can believe that. That's due to the fact that I love open packers and have pretty much only been playing open packers on this channel, and open games do not have any besides those rule differences, Stonewall works the same as Flower Garden. And so we got no aces in our reserve, unfortunately. So let's see what we can do. Not much, it looks like. Just from these cards, we don't have any way we can move. We're gonna have to play cards from the reserve if we want to move anything. So let's see, do we have any jacks? No. So we can't get one of these 10s. Do we have we do have a red 4. So we can play that and move this 3. Now we get to see what this card is. It's a jack, the wrong color jack. So we can't put it on the queen, but we can still take this 10 and reveal this card, which is a king, the thing you don't want to see. Let's see, is there anything else we can do? Do we have a black or red 9? We do have a black 9, but I don't think the black 9 will actually allow us to do anything. Let's play the black 9, the red 8. Now do we have a black 7? It looks like we do not. What else do we have? We have a red queen. Okay, we can actually do that. We can play the red queen, but it's just gonna get us. It's not gonna get us anywhere, so we can play the red queen and then we can move this whole sequence. But that really doesn't do anything for us because it just reveals this king. We can play another red queen, but we don't have another jack. And it looks like that's where this game is going to end. So this is pretty much how most Stonewall games go. You get a few moves, and then nothing. I mean, we could do this. We could play this too. That obviously doesn't do anything. Same with this. At the very least, we'll try to play all the cards from the reserve that we can, even if it doesn't lead anywhere. But it looks like that's it now. Okay. So, there's game 1 of Stonewall. As you can see, they tend to end pretty quick. Let's see what these face down cards were. All our aces were at the bottom, which is even worse in this game than in a normal Flower Garden game because you don't know how to get, you can't make a plan to get to the ace because half the cards are unknown. So when you have deep aces, you just have to hope there's a way to get to them. You can't really make a plan. Now I don't hate this this half open, you know, some cards face up, some cards face down style. There are some other games that use that I do enjoy. I'm a fan of Athena. It's a Klondike variant where half the tableau is face up and half is face down. I actually really like that game. I think it's a lot of fun. So I'm not against the concept. I think I'm only against the concept when your movement is so limited like it is in this game, and you have so few ways to get started. The 6 piles is just... 6 does not feel like enough. Alright, let's deal our next game. We didn't even get a single ace to the foundation in that last game. Maybe we'll do a little better this time. reserve this time. We can move this 2 to the foundation. Let's see what this is. 8 jack. Do we have any other cards? We didn't have a 2 of spades, did we? No. We have the 2 of hearts, the 3 of spades, but okay. Let's see, how can we move forward from here? We do have a black 10, we could play that to one of the jacks. I wish we had a black 9, we could play black 9. We don't have a black 9 or a red 8, so we wouldn't be able to get the 7 no matter what. Man, do we have any options here? I mean, I don't think this leads to anything. And we have no black 6. I mean, we could do this, but that doesn't do anything. No red 6. Nothing we can do. That's how this game goes. This is a cruel game. I do not know who invented this or why it has enjoyed relative popularity, but most games just go like that. So we're probably going to do more than 4. Maybe we'll do 5 or 6. It depends how many of them end like that, which is probably going to be most of them. So you'll get a lot of shuffling. If you like the shuffling sounds, you're going to get a lot of that for this variant. Now, I don't remember if I've mentioned this before, but I've only won Stonewall a single time, and it was, of all things, on the Game Boy version of the Solitaire Fun Pack. There's a Stonewall is included on that collection, and I've beaten it. Oh my god, I've beaten it once exactly. And I've never beaten it on anything else. I've never beaten it with real cards. I've never beaten it on any other collection. The only time I've ever beaten it is on the Solitaire Fun Pack on the Game Boy. It would be pretty cool if I managed to win it tonight. But I'm not getting my hopes up. Oh my god, more aces at the bottom. Oh, what is that? It's really amusing that, like, I was kind of running out of space, so I want to try to scrunch the cards a little more. It's really amusing to me that we keep getting the aces on the face-up cards near the bottom. Because, like, they could be in the face-down cards and then we would never know. But they have to end up being on the face-up cards just to taunt us. So that we know the game is over before we've even finished dealing. Aces in the reserve, which means the last ace is face down somewhere. Who knows where? Do we have a red 5? No. It seems like you never have the cards you need in this game. I don't know what it is. The luck just never works out. No red jack. No red 6. There's a red 3, but that doesn't do anything. Is this game nothing we can do. This game is crazy. It's funny that of all the games with face-down tableau cards, this is the first one I'm playing. Not like Klondike or Spider or something. This one. Alright, that's 3 games already, if you can believe it. We definitely have to do more than 4. This is a bit ridiculous. I want to get at least one game that, like, opens an empty pile. Note that having an empty pile doesn't really help you nearly as much in this game as it does in Flower Garden, because you usually end up needing to fill it to reveal face-down cards. And when you do that, you have no way of knowing that you're actually going to be able to get the pile back. So you can't do like what you would do in Flower Garden, where you have an empty space and then you plan a sequence of moves that ends with you still having the empty space, because you have no clue what the face-down cards are, so they could just end up being something that does not let you get the space back. It's a much more luck-based game. Alright. I'm not going to spend too much time shuffling because we're going to be doing it so often. I don't want to spend like 2 minutes shuffling for every game. There's another ace on the bottom. Again, in the face-up card, just to taunt us. That one's a little closer to the top at least. And once again, no aces in the reserve. It's funny, in Flower Garden I feel like I get aces in the reserve at least one almost every game, but when I play Stonewall I never get them. No red 8 to move that 7. We do have a black queen. We will reveal a card, if you can believe it. Oh my god. We get to do. Look how many moves we get to make. This is crazy. We can move these two together because we can move sequences. But, oh yeah, okay, then we can move the 9 to the 10. Do we have a red 6? No, we do not. We can move this 10 and 9 over to the red jack. Now we can do this, but I don't know if it actually gets us anything. Okay, like, we reveal this 7, but now what? We don't have a black 8. Man, could I get some aces, please? I'm getting, like, no aces in these games. Alright, I think that's it. No red 6. No black 6. No black 8. And then, yeah, these are all 2s. We can't move anything onto them. And none of these stacks have anywhere they can move. Like, no red 5 for this stack, no red 6 for this stack, no red 10 for this stack. Yeah, Yeah, this is done, I think. Let me just do one more double check. Yeah, this one is done. Well, I mean, we actually got to make some moves that time. There was one of our aces. Another ace face down on the bottom row. Perfect. So was that 3? So this is going to be our 4th game. Or was that 4? I don't know, I've lost count. They go so fast. In the reserve. Okay. We've actually got moves to make, hopefully. So let's take this ace. And we'll take the 2 as well. Remove this ace from the top row. That we get a king. That's not what we want to see, but we get the 2 of hearts. Do we have the 2 of spades? No, we do not. And it must be face down. Okay. Let's move this queen. Unfortunately, we got a card that we already have, so it does not open any new options for us. Oh, we do have the 3. I don't think this does anything. Should I even play it yet, or should I wait? I mean, the game's gonna end in like 5 seconds anyway, so. Black. I do have a red 8. Do I have a black 7? There's one here, but we can't get to it. We don't have a jack. What's this? Oh, the 2 of diamonds. Let's just play these, because why not? Now, we have a red 8, but nothing we can do with it. We have a red 7, but again, that doesn't help us. We've got a black queen, but I don't know, I guess let's just play these cards, because like, I mean, just maybe something will reveal itself as I do this, but I don't think it will. Nope. It looks like we have lost again. Yep. Oh, what a game. This is definitely like this game at some point with cards. It's just such a grind. You really gotta sit there trying it over and over and over in order to get one. And maybe someday I'll have the patience to do that. Maybe I'll do it on camera. As I've said before, I'm always willing to replay games on request, so if you really want to see more Stonewall, let me know, and we might do a Stonewall grind video where we bash our heads against this game until we hopefully get a win eventually. I mean, I could see that being kind of fun, honestly. I mean, I don't hate this game. Obviously, it sounds like I'm not really enjoying myself because I'm just losing every time, and there isn't really much we can do about it. But I do enjoy games like this that are very low odds of winning. I do think they're kind of fun, and they are definitely very satisfying when they do win. Like when you do get one that works. So we got an ace in the reserve, and we got a 2 for that ace as well. Now, let's see if we can do anything else. Do we have a red 9? We do not. Do we have... Well, let's do this. Do we have a blackjack? We do. And what do we have here? We can use that, I think. I mean, I don't know what else we would do with it, so... Unfortunately, that jack that we unveiled doesn't seem to actually help us in any way. We do have a red 8, so we can do this. Oh, we got another ace. Would you look at that? Now what? We do have a red 6. This is what I was afraid of using this American Airlines deck, is that it uses the big numbers, so I figured we're probably going to run out of space. Okay. Do we have a black 5? No. No red 10. No black 5. No red 9. We do have a red 3, but that wouldn't help us at all. No black 6. I think this one's done. Alright. Let's see if we can get one more game where we actually get to make a decent amount of moves, and then I'll probably stop this video. Actually help. Probably be the last one, unless this is just like we can not do anything. this black 10 to the red jack. Oh, we got another ace. We do have the 2 for that one as well. We don't have the black queen, so we can't move this jack to the king. We have a red 9 that we can put here, but we don't have the black 8 that we would need to get this 7. We don't have a red 3, so we can't put the red 3. Oh no, that actually wouldn't even work anyways. Because this is an even, red even, this is red odd, so you can't get this one onto this stack. They have to be the same. Okay, well, let's do one more. Maybe this is the one. So I guess I'll just start doing my outro now. I just want to say, if you watched this whole way through, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm really enjoying doing this on this channel. It's been super fun. This video in particular, this basically took my entire weekend. I've been recording and re-recording and editing all weekend. So I hope it was worth it. I hope you enjoyed it. And let's see if we can maybe... God, this would be insane if we could win this last one, but something tells me it's going to be just as much of a dud as all the others. Should have done some kind of ritual. Like cut the deck or something. Maybe that's the magic that we need. Oh my god. I'm not hopeful with these aces. Besides that, we can play this jack. We can play that. Do we have a black 3? We do. Let me just make sure I want to do that before I do it. Oh wait, we can do this. Let's wait before... I want to wait to make these moves off the reserve until I've made all the moves on the tableau. We do have a red jack. Let's play that black 3. Although that just reveals a queen. I probably should have looked before I did that. This queen doesn't do me any favors. Let's see, do we have anything else we can do? We can play red 10 and black 9. Let's do this one because it's closer to the bottom. And we get a black 9. I don't think that does anything. Oh wait, we can play this stack to it. Duh. Okay. Now, do we have a red 9? We do. Okay, we're making moves. We're making moves. lose this. This is by far the best game we've gotten tonight. Let's see. This might be it. Like, we could play the black 8, but we don't have a red 7, and there isn't a red 7 anywhere. We don't have any black jacks we could play to here. Do we have... Oh, wait. We have a black 5 we can play here. What's this? A black 4. We can play it, but it just reveals a queen. That doesn't do anything. Oh, wait. We can play this stack to it. Okay, hang on. Okay, wow, this game is actually going decently well. This would be the most insane thing ever if this game won. But I think I'm getting way ahead of myself. Okay, wait, we got another ace. Oh my lord. Oh my god, is it happening? No way. I'm getting way too excited. There's no way I'm winning this. Okay, we got an empty space. Okay, let's use this wisely. How do we want to use this empty space? I think we want to play this as 9 stack here and then move the jack onto the red queen. Let's do that. Oh my god. Is this really happening? Do I want to move this queen stack? Or do I want to move this king stack? Or this king stack? Oh, it's all luck. It's all a guessing game. I'm gonna do this one because it's less effort to move. Good reasoning. Oh my god, and it was the right choice. Oh my goodness. I swear to god I've never won this game with cards before. But okay. And we can move this to here. We've got 2 empty spaces. I'm actually losing my mind right now. The party's gotta end. There's gonna be at some point where I'm just gonna run out of options. But this has been a fun ride. Okay, let's do this stack here. This is what I'm talking about. Like, you might think, oh, why would you ever play this game? You never get to do anything. But then the game comes around where you get to do things, and my heart is actually beating. Like, I just can't stop thinking, like, is this actually the one? Oh my god, we can play this 3 here. Okay, hang on. Okay, we moved the queen stack to the empty pile. What is this face down card? What is this? Oh my god, dude, can we do anything with this? Oh no, is it over? It's not over. Oh my god, and we get the ace. Oh my god, I think we won. I think we won. Oh my god. Oh my god, I can't believe we won. Wow. Wait, I messed something up. I put these on the wrong pile, but wow. Oh my god. That is so awesome. I'm so glad we ended on a win. Holy crap. I've never gotten this excited playing Solitaire before. Wow. Okay. If thank you so much for watching. I hope the ending was worth it. I'm having a really hard time whispering right now because I'm trying to contain my excitement. Oh my god. I'm really glad I won because I think if I didn't win, you would probably get the impression that this game is really stupid. Like, if that game ended like all the other games did where nothing happened, you would probably think this game has no value to it and it's just like a waste of time, but you actually got to see a win, and I think my reaction totally explains why people like games like this. So, yeah, thank you so much if you watched all the way through. This has been so fun to make this video,